In this video, I am reviewing Baroness's new album, Stone. The band self-produced this album, their sixth studio release and follow-up to 2019's Golden Gray, which was dropped on September 15th of 2023 via Abraxan Hymns. Despite the pandemic, the band began working on the album 3 years ago and held weekly Zoom meetings to write around 30 songs. By 2020, they began recording in their vacation home in New York. The album's original release was scheduled for 2021, but it was postponed. However, they were able to drop a live EP for a record store day. The album's release got put on hold as they hit the road in 2021, and the bands began performing live shows again after the pandemic. Before the album's release, 3 singles were made public, which I will cover in this video. So for those of you who know me, I like to start my reviews with a history lesson, but I'll keep it quick. This band has been active since 2023, so it's been about 20 years since they began. It's hard to describe their sound because every song seems to be a little different. I guess the best comparison would be the band Mastodon. They have some sludge metal, some progressive metal, and some alternative rock and indie rock mixed into their sound. They are a unique band. The band was formed by singer John Dyer Baisley, who also does the artwork on the album. All their albums are named after colors, except this one, unless you consider stone a color. I'll tell you why I think the album is called Stone in the final thoughts section of this video. So that's enough history. Let's get into the music. The album opens with Embers. It's a 1 minute song. It's called Embers because it sounds like someone sitting around a campfire playing an acoustic guitar. And this leads to the next song called Last Word. This was one of the singles, and it starts with a very fast and heavy rhythm. You got sludgy guitar sounds and complex arrangements. The song is like this thick bass guitar sound in some parts, and the vocals are more on the melodic side. Song has a lot of clean guitars creating sound textures, and the drumming can be very technical and complex at times. The song has a guitar solo, and it was a fast and complex one. Out of the 3 singles released, this was probably my least favorite. My favorite song from the singles was Shine. That's track number 7, so I'll get to that in a few minutes. But let's talk about Beneath the Rose. This was also one of the singles. This one is very energetic. Song starts with some wailing grunge style guitars with some sporadic drum fills, but then when the main riff comes in, it sounds more like a heavy metal song. They change the guitar tone a lot. They keep it interesting. Then it gets weird. It's like a thrash metal guitar riff with some 80s goth vocals. The guitar sounds were very cool, and the vocals were kind of like a drunken Jim Morrison. That was my impression. Well, the chorus comes in, it gets a lot more melodic. It's a mix of progressive rock and goth rock, and this one was actually pretty good. I like this one a lot. Now we got track 4, Acquire. I like
the shield against her life. For her, the sweet behemoth.
I like this one a lot. I think some of the deep cuts are probably better than the singles. This one is weird. It has a hard driving intro. It reminded me of like Barracuda by Heart at first, but then the song turns into this Rob Zombie type song where they're doing the spoken word thing over the instrumental. I think the song that reminded me of was Thunder Kiss 65 by White Zombie. The song is very psychedelic. It's a weird space ride with some clean guitar elements. It's kind of like an early Syd Barrett era Pink Floyd song, but it's just a lot darker. It's very different. It's hard to describe. It might be my favorite song on the album. It's just a very weird song. Track 5 is the Durge. Another one. Songs which I will call a transition song. It sounds like a few people playing acoustic guitars and singing harmony. The vocals are harmony. You get the high vocals, the low octave vocals, and pretty cool effects they did there. Anodyne is a song that starts with some distorted and palm muted guitar riffs. It sounded very Mastodon-like to me. The rhythm is heavy and psychedelic. The song has a sludgy type of sound mixed with some weird psychedelic sounds. The rhythm is not very complex, but it drives the song. It has some interesting guitar riffs on this one, and they even bring in some harmonized guitars. Now we're on track number 7, Shine. This was probably my favorite of the singles, and it's interesting. It's a longer song at over 6 minutes. The song begins with a very spacey and atmospheric vibe, something like a Pink Floyd type of sound. Song then takes off in the first verse and has a very hard driving rhythm with melodic vocals. The sound was kind of sludgy, almost Mastodon like, and they also experimented with some different sounds. There's a point in the song where the guitars take on a psychedelic sound. By the middle of the song, they take on a space ride with a softer breakdown filled with clean guitar sounds and interesting drum patterns. They bring in some harmonized guitars, kind of like this like Iron Maiden like style. And towards the end of the song, they do a spoken word part where it sounds like they're doing some new age chants or something like that. It's a trippy kind of song, especially towards the end. It reminded me of a lot of those like psychedelic bands from the 60s. This was pretty cool. Now we're on track 8. We're getting close to the end. We've got Magnolia. It's the longest song at 7.5 minutes. The first minute is very laid back with the acoustic guitars and some like bass guitar sound. This another one's very trippy. It has a lot of that's like hanging out at the campfire. That's how it feels. And then it gets heavy after 2 minutes. They do that well-known brand of sludgy progressive metal. The drums are very good here. They play different polyrhythms. They incorporate different sounds throughout the song and use clean guitars mixed with distorted ones. The clean guitar riffs can seem complex, and the distorted guitars keep the song very heavy. It's a pretty good song. Under the Wheel is the penultimate song, and this one has a slower driving rhythm at first. This one reminded me of the band Tool. It has that kind of darker feel. The vocals were clean. It had a slower driving rhythm. They incorporated some clean guitars that gave it a goth rock type of sound. Another one of those trippy songs. Final song is called Bloom, and it's like a folk song with acoustic guitars, which seems to be a recurring theme. They also add in some psychedelic sounds in the background and kind of keeps it with the theme of the album. The entire song is a soft acoustic song, and they add in many different elements and they make it interesting. So it is pretty cool. So in conclusion, we got a lot going on with this album. First, let me say I've never been a big Baroness fan. I've listened to their songs on streaming. I've been listening to them like these past couple of days just to prepare for this, but I can't say I know their entire discography very well. But with that being said, I like this album a lot. As I mentioned before, the reason why the other albums are colors and this one's called Stone, it can be interpreted in different ways. I saw a few reviews saying it's called Stone because it rocks, and that's a good interpretation. I mean, it's true. But for me, I think the whole album has this outdoors camping ground in the forest type of feel where stone represents like returning to nature. And I could be wrong. They may have revealed it in an interview. I haven't seen anything. If you know, well, let us know in the comments. That's my interpretation. It's an awesome album. It will probably get better over time. My score is an 8.5 out of 10. It might go up to a 9 by the end of the month, but that's where it is right now.